In this lesson, we will see the semantic elements in HTML5. So what are semantic elements? Semantic means meaning. So the semantic elements describe their meaning to the browser and to the developer. An example for non-semantic element is the div element. By reading the element, you can't tell what does the element actually do. An example for a semantic element is the table element. By reading the element, you already guess that the element is used to create a table. There are many semantic elements in HTML. The new semantic elements in HTML5 are first the header element, which is used, of course, for creating a header in the page. So with the header element, which is a semantic element, by reading the element, you already know what it does. So in this case, it creates a header. The content of the header is inserted between the opening and the closing tag of the header. So let's set the content to semantic elements. And now let's test it in the browser. So as you can see, the header element looks same as any other text element. So it is very similar to the paragraph element. What's so different, I will tell you at the end of this tutorial lesson. The next semantic element in HTML5 is the footer element. It is used to set the footer in the page. The footer, it is similar to the header element. The only difference, it is usually positioned bottom left. And same as with the header element, the footer element is a pair element. So it has an opening and a closing tag. Usually the footer is this to set the copyright informations or some use of terms links. The content is inserted between the opening and the closing tag. So we will use the entity number to set the copyright symbol. The entity number is 169. And now we will insert one space and we will type Angelko Miloszewski 2014. Usually this is the format you will see on the websites. And now let's see the results in the browser. So here we have our footer element. And if you noticed, it is located left top. It is not located bottom left. So why is that? Well, because the semantic elements are used only to describe the meaning of the content, not to actually position and style the elements like their name says. But more on that later. The next semantic element is the section element. The section element is a pair element and it is used to insert a section in the page. The section element is mostly used to set the main content of the page. So inside the section element, you will insert the main content of your current web page. So in the section element, we will insert one H1 tag and one paragraph. And let's create another section, but this time with different content. And now let's see the results in the browser. So here we have our two sections with the headings and with the paragraphs. As you may notice, the sections look like a normal text, but if you also notice, they look something like they're structured in sections. So the section element, it is used to set the main content of the page. The next element is the article element, and it is used to insert an article in the page. An article should make sense on its own, and it should be possible to distribute independently from the rest of the web page. An article is usually used to create a forum post, comment, blog post, or news story. So let's type some content in the article. And now let's see the results in the browser. As you see, again, the article element, it is very similar to the paragraph element, but still it is used to insert an article. The next element, the next semantic element, is the aside element. The aside element, it is used to insert a content which is aside from the content in which the aside element is inserted. So the aside content should be related to the content which surrounds the aside element. The aside element, it is also used for creating a sidebar or a side menu. Usually, together with CSS, you can make great side menus, especially for mobile devices. So let's insert some content inside the aside element. And now let's see the results in the browser. And as you can see, the aside element, it is shown the same way as with the section element and the article element. So it is shown as a normal text. The next semantic element is the Nav element, which is short for navigation. It is used to define a set of navigation links. And in most cases, it is used to create a navigation bar in the page. So, to insert a navigation links inside the nav element, the anchor element. So for example, let's set the href value of the anchor element to the Google web page. And let's add a couple of more links to different web pages. And now let's see the results in the browser. And as you can see, the navigation links are shown inline. Same because the anchor elements are inline elements. And if you look on them, they look like a navigation bar. With little CSS, you can make them even better. So as you see, we've got an error. The page didn't work. It didn't work because we didn't insert the HTTP protocol in the href attribute. So to make the page accessible, you must include the HTTP protocol or the HTTPS, which is more secure. If the web page supports it, of course. So now you may ask yourself, why are these semantic elements in HTML5 when they are not shown and styled as their name says? So why the footer element, for example, is not shown to the bottom, or the aside element is not shown aside? Well, the semantic elements are only used to describe its meaning to the browser's engine, to the search engine, and to the developer. So it is used only to describe the content of the semantic element. It is not used to style the content and to set the element with the proper style. The style, you have to do it manually. So that's the purpose of the semantic element. Now I have created a table in HTML to show you how and where the semantic elements are displayed and how they are used to structure the page. Now here we have our table, and imagine this here, this table is the page you are making. So I have created a demonstration which elements are used to structure the page in HTML5 and where to position the elements. So here, as I said, this table represents the page we are building. The first element at the top should be the header element, which is used to set usually the logo of the page, the logo of the site. Then it goes the navigation menu, the navigation bar, where the links are located to navigate in the page. Then we have the section element, which is used to set the main content of the page. Then it goes the article, which describes a self-contained, independent content. For example, the section is used to set the main content on the page, and the article to set a post or a comment. The aside element is used to insert a side note or to create a side menu. In most cases, it is used on the mobile devices to create side menu. And the footer element is the top-down element, which is used to set, for example, the copyright information about the website or some use of terms links. So the header, the nav element, and the footer are placed on one line. The article goes below the section and the aside element goes aside. So that's all for these tutorial lessons about the new semantic elements in HTML5. Now you are ready to create and structure your HTML page using the semantic elements in HTML5.